Hi, everybody. I'm Donna Reid, and this is Donna Reid Talks Voice. And I have two very, very special people who are going to be participating with me in this particular episode. So, Jackie, would you please introduce yourself and say hi to the people?
Hi, my name is Jackie Burns, and I am a longtime student of Miss Donna.
And Jackie, of course, if you don't know who she is, then you're not in musical theater and Google. Then we're also working with Fabi, who I've never worked with before. This is the first time I'm meeting her, which is why I'm doing this. I like to show you out there exactly what I do with a person who I see for the very first time. And obviously, I'm in New York City. You hear the sirens, so it is what it is. Okay, so Fabi, if you could just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Fabiola. I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I've always loved singing, musical theater, and everything. I did a bachelor's degree in uh, classical music. So I have a little bit of classical background, and I'm just actually trying to find more my mix and everything, which is something I know Donna works well with. So I'm excited to be here and excited that Jackie told me that if I could be here. So yeah.
Yay!
Wonderful. Fabulous. Thank you so much. So let's get going. I know you haven't warmed up or anything today, so I'll get you going and then I'll turn you over to Jackie to work the music. So, what I have everybody do is always to begin with is just exhale all of your air. Inhale as you bring your arms up. Exhale. Do that 2 or 3 times just to kind of get things moving. And again. And again, and just notice the air going in, notice the air going out, and one more time. Beautiful. I'm not going to get into a whole big thing about breathing. We're just going to have the air flying in and out the way you did it just there, just to get it moving. Fabulous. So I'm going to start you here. We're going to do this on an ooh, those 3 notes. One of the reasons why I usually start with the ooh and a little bit higher is when you're warming up, you should always get the head voice going because that's the muscle, the little muscle, that cricothyroid muscle that stretches the vocal cords. He's
Yes.
the guy that we don't use when we speak. And when you warm up, you literally have to warm up that muscle. So we want to stretch the cords, get them a little bit higher. And we do that with kind of a head voice sound. So those 3 notes with an ooh.
Ooh.
Exactly. Perfect.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh.
Fabulous. Now we're going to take the whole octave with the same idea with the ooh. Yep. Great. Now you notice it goes into some kind of a chest voice on the bottom, but it's not a strong chest voice because it's an ooh vowel, which is great. Fine. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. Now let's get the chest voice going a little bit. You're going to do that with a ga ga ga. Just see what happens. Just let everything move, let everything be fluid, ga 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 ga, etc. 3 times.
Ga 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 ga.
Great.
Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga.
Wonderful. It sounds very easy for you to get down there, and the back of your tongue for the ga 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 seems to move very easily, right?
Yeah.
Fabulous. Now we're going to go the other extreme. Uh, Same thing three times, but do it with an oo staccato. So now we're obviously in soprano land, right? Not just yet, but we're going to go higher and higher just to see where your voice wants to go. So oo staccato three times.
So it would be ooh, right?
With a staccato though. Ooh, 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 ooh. Exactly. Yep. And as you go higher with it, you just let it go wherever it needs to go. Let it do whatever it needs to do. Great. Now you notice how it wants to open up a little bit on top, right?
Yeah.
You just allow it to do that and don't worry about how it sounds. Don't even worry about if it's in tune. Just let it fly. We're not going to go high, high, but I'm going to do just a couple of more, right? That's it. And you just let it go wherever it needs to go. Let it do whatever it seems to need to do. And again, do not worry about the aesthetics of it. That's it. Yep.
Oh my God.
That was it. Yeah, great. There. Now, what threw you off is that it started to sound a little bit different qualitatively simply because you're going higher. That
Yeah.
was really good. Actually, I'm loving this song. And that was pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
I'm,
Surprising. Yes.
I'm loving this so much. We're going to go just a couple more. And again, let it be strange. Let it be weird. Let it not even be the best thing you've ever sung. We're just testing the limits here, okay? Exactly. There it is. Yeah. Brilliant. You could definitely go higher. We don't need to go higher than that. Now, I'll tell you why. Well, let me ask you this first. Do you usually sing up there or do you ever play around with those notes up there?
Never.
Okay. Now that tells me, because now we're going to work before you start working the music with Jackie, we're going to work a little bit on the mix and how you get that going. The people who have the easiest, best time, make the best belters are the people who have those high notes up there. Jackie herself, and nobody knows this about her, I'm telling this on her. She could sing, I've had her sing up to an A flat above the high C. Nobody knows that about her. She's an amazing belter. Nobody knows she's got these amazing soprano notes up there that she can sing. But it's because she can sing those things that the mix in the middle is so good. So it's related one to the other. Now, let me show you how we're going to get that mix going. So you're going to do this. Now, this is obnoxious. Again, do not think of aesthetics. It's obnoxious. It's bright. You're going to do it with a K and an A. And the reason I give you the K is that the shape of the cavity way back there where the K is the important thing, not the sensations. The sensations may or may not feel quote unquote forward. I don't know. Everybody feels them differently. But you don't want to go after the sensation. So you're going to do it with a ka, K-A, those three notes, bright, 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 ka. Let it be bright, ugly, broad. Exactly. As ugly and bright as you can make it, and let it switch as it goes down or not. Again, whatever it wants to do.
K.
That one needs a little bit more energy behind it, and a little bit more idea. So a real energetic is the right word, as I just said. So real energy, but always thinking upper side in terms of harmonics, and hearing that even though you may feel more chest voice.
K.
Not bad. It could be a little uglier. It's a little too pretty.
Okay. K.
Exactly, exactly.
K.
Now you hear the bottom two,
Yeah.
and that went into a little bit more chest voice, right?
Yeah.
Great. You just noticed that. That's great. Now the top one may want to do that, may not. Again, you let it do whatever it's going to do. And there was slightly more chest voice on the top one, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Definitely.
And again, you just notice that and you just get a sense of it. You hear it in your ear. You get a sense of what it's doing kinesthetically. But when we try to repeat it, it's not a placement thing. You're not going to put it there, but you're going to kind of get a sense as to what it's doing is the better way to do it. Because if you chase after a sensation, you might not get it again. But if you chase after, or if you emphasize, let's say, the kind of shape of the cavity and how you're energizing it, that'll get you there. So another one. Yeah. A little broader. Exactly. Don't get it too round. Yes. Right. Now you notice that chest voice on the bottom has a very different feel and sound from the ga 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 that we did earlier on.
Yes.
So this chest voice is a little bit quote unquote higher. It's got a different shape of the cavity. It's not ga ga ga, it's right? So when you're doing something musical theater, pop, belty that has to be mixy, it's got to, from the very beginning on the bottom, it's got to be this kind of an all the vowels have to be very horizontal like this. And again, quote unquote, it's a little bit higher. The cavity is just a little bit a different shape. Everything feels a little bit higher. Nothing wrong with the other one. It's just a different kind of a chest voice. Now we're going to do one more, and then I'm going to hand you over to Jackie. Take this start it with this sound, right? Straight up with it, and just see where it goes. Now, I like the mix. It was a little hesitant for me. So, in other words,
Yeah.
you were a little cautious, a little. The one thing about doing the belt, and you don't have to think just chest voice, it's just aggressive, let's put it that way. It'll do whatever mix it needs to do. If not, then I'll fix it. But you cannot ever hold back when you're thinking about either belting or mixing. So once it starts to get a head voice feel to it, you can't pull back on it. You just have to kind of go. Just go into whatever that feeling is. Do it once more, a little bit energetically, and remember, it's kind of obnoxious sounding. Now, already from the bottom, hold on a sec.
Yeah.
Now, already from the bottom, it was a little bit too like this. Just do the bottom note, all by itself. Now, you're going to take that sound, breathe, make sure you take enough air, start with the K, and put a K in front of all of them. So you know it's way back there somewhere, and it's just aggressive and energetic. Let it be terrible. Let it go. Let it be the worst thing you've ever sung in your life. Just go for it. Now that was great. We missed the beginning of that because your video froze a little bit, but I love the top note. Now, how did that one feel?
Yeah, that felt super free. Like I couldn't even feel anything going on my larynx. It was very relaxed.
Excellent. So that's what we're looking for. Let's see if we can incorporate that into the music. I'm going to hand you over to Jackie, and then if there's a glitch somewhere, I'll pop right back in.
Awesome.
So take it away, Jackie.
Yay! So we want to work on the Anastasia song, which is more of a mixy belt, because that is something that you don't do as much of, right? And so let's just start and we'll sing the song and we'll find where our trouble spots are vocally, and see also if we can help them acting wise, because so much of I think singers' problems is that when we start forgetting about the story that we're telling, that is when we get into trouble with our voices, and we start getting in our heads and thinking, oh God, I'm not going to hit this note. And then if we could just go back to the story we're telling, those sabotaging thoughts that we have as performers and as artists can't come in, and that we stand out of our own way and we don't judge ourselves, like how you were in the beginning judging yourself doing this new exercise that felt weird, and Donna was like, it's okay, let it go, and like just trust in it. And the second you got out of your head and you said, okay, I'm just going to allow myself to sound bad, it was easy and amazing, right?
Yeah.
So we tell ourselves these stories in our head. We're like, oh, I can't, this is too high. And we tell ourselves things that aren't real. And if we get back to what we're doing, which is telling this story, whatever story it is, we can't self-sabotage ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to sing, we're going to sing the song, and then we'll find out where we run into troubles and see if Donna and I can help you from the voice technical part and the acting part and marry them together and get the best product that you want. Good?
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to mute myself and let you take it away.
Let me
and remember, just take a second. Remember the moment before. Remember what story you're telling. Just give yourself a minute to settle and then have fun.
Okay. I'm going to search for it and then I'm going to get in the moment. Okay.
Yay. I remember the first time Donna made me do the Cas. And I was like, what? Now I love them. I love sounding ugly. I think it's another thing for singers. It's like, I have to sound ugly? Wait, what? And then once you do, it's so beautiful and freeing, you know?
Okay.
All right.
Heart, don't fail me now. Courage, don't desert me. Don't turn back now that we're here. People always say life is full of choices. No one ever mentions fear or how the world can seem so vast on a journey to the past. Somewhere down this road, I know someone's waiting. Years of dreams just can't be wrong. Arms will open wide. I'll be safe and wanted. Finally home where I belong. Well, starting now, I'm learning fast on a journey to the past. Home, love, family, to home, love, family. I will never be complete until I find you. One step at a time, one hope, then another. Who knows where this road may go? Back to who I was, on to find my future. Things my heart still needs to know. Yes, let this be a sign. Let this road be mine. Let it lead me to my past and bring me home at last.
I think you're amazing. I mean, is she not amazing?
Yes, that's amazing. Technically speaking, honestly, I don't have anything to say because the mixes were just all fabulous. Now, let me ask you a question. How does that, with what you just did now, compare to the what normally happens?
So normally final at last, it would be like very heavy, like it would be like at last, and like search for that direction and that energy on that last. It's very hard, but I think the ke helped me so much, finding like that natural, like speaking voice, that chest voice, very broad, like you say.
Yep, yep.
So I think that that was the one. Like I just thought of the K, so that's what I did. I thought of that exercise. Just think of it like that, and it helped. So
Beautiful. I mean, I didn't even have to set it up because the mixes were all great. Technically speaking, it just worked. Possibly because of the way I warmed you up and got you a sense of the air going. You notice how we warmed up with a very much of the head voice, except for when we got to the end of the mix, and then it just worked. Now, Jackie, I'll ask you, how was that compared to just acting wise and performance wise compared to the what normally happens?
That this was, I mean, I flawless. She just auditioned for a school and I saw her self tape and she of course got a call back because she's amazing. And so I gave her some notes and this song was already in such incredible shape. And the only thing that I wanted her to do was think about what she in real time, what she was actually feeling and thinking and how specifically she felt about everything that she's talking about. And she did everything that I had said and it was flawless. For me, what I really you're just so talented. It's cuckoo. If you're up for it, what I'd really like to work on really quick is your song. What is it?
what's the use of wondering?
Thank you. I sing it all the time. I don't know why I forgot it. Because there is something that I feel like Donna can really help you with is that, especially because what you were unlocking earlier today in the lesson when you were getting that higher soprano kind of floaty sound that you didn't know that you could do, that you were this like coloratura soprano. I want you to find some of that in the song because the one thing that I noticed is that I felt a little, sometimes when people think soprano, they think covered and kind of heavy and like a hootier, like, sound. And you have this beautiful like ease about your soprano that I had never heard before that I'd like to see if Donna can find a little bit more of that color in the song for you. And also I think for us that was a song that I thought lacked the most specificity. I didn't know who exactly you were talking to and what stakes you had and just the why, the who of the song, what your objective was. So I think we can work on it really quick on a technical and an acting and kind of marry them
That
together.
would be great. I'm just going to go get the music right here, and then I'll have you, without even doing anything, I'll have you sing it, and then we'll just see what sound is the one that's most suited. and that will help in terms of what you want to say with that, and then we'll work it from there. So go ahead, tune that one up and get started with that.
I'm sorry, I threw you for a loop. Is that okay?
No, that's perfect. It's perfect. I'm
Great.
searching for it.
Yes.
And what I also like about this is that one should be able to do switch styles immediately. Now, this is Rodgers and Hammerstein. This is way different than that mixie belt for what you just did, right? So
Yes.
changing styles, changing character. It's a different era. It's a different way of looking at things. It's a whole different character because you've got this strong Anastasia, and now you've got this woman who's basically been abused by her husband, but she's talking about how she loves him, and you just he's your guy, so you just put up with it. It's like, whoa, that's very different from the strong woman saying, you know what, I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to go forward with it. So the sound changes, your intention changes. So give it a try, and we'll see where it's at.
Yes. Okay. What's the use of wondering if he's good or if like the way he wears his hat? But what's the use of wondering if he's good or if he's bad? He's your feller and you love him. There's nothing more to say. Common sense may tell you that the ending will be sad, and now's the time to break and run away. But what's the use of wondering if the ending will be sad? He's your feller and you love him. There's nothing more to say. Something made him the way that he is, whether he's false or true, and something gave him the things that are his. One of those things is you. So when he wants your kisses, you will give them to the lad, and anywhere he leads you, you will walk, and anytime he meets you, you'll go running there like mad. And he's your fur, and all the rest is talk.
I just want to point out, that I love that you always take your moment when you finish a song and you let the audience take the moment as well, because there's nothing worse when somebody does this amazing job and then they're like, oh, is that okay? Is everything okay? Because then it's something I have to work on all the time, because we tell people how to treat us, right? We've talked about this. And so if you do this amazing job and then you don't settle and finish the song and immediately look for, oh God, is that okay? You're telling the person that's watching that you weren't happy with what you did, and that they aren't happy with what you did, even though they were happy with what you did. So I just want to point out that I'm such a big fan of that. You do that, and everybody should do that. Take your moment. You just did something amazing. Let it settle. Okay. Donna, do you want to talk, or what do
No,
you
you
think?
go ahead. Because I want to hear what you have to say in terms of the acting, in terms of the sounds, before I say anything.
Great. So I noticed, did you feel like a little bit towards the end, that last note felt a little heavy and kind of scratchy, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So why that is because I feel like when I watch this song on you, is that I'm seeing the singer sing rather than you telling this story. And I don't know if it's because, why do you like singing this song? Who chose this song for you? Do you love this song?
So I chose the song, and it was for my senior recital in bachelor's degree in classical music. So basically, I chose it because I wanted it to feel like a bit more operatic. Like it was a way of getting musical theater in the program, in my program. So basically, that's why I chose it. I love the melody of it. But I do find it that it's very hard for me to sing it. I always find it like very heavy
Yes.
for me. And I don't know why. Like I just feel like the air stopping, like what you said, the air stopping at time.
Yeah. So for what I'm feeling is that you have this sense that you've decided that the song needs to be operatic and heavy. And I want you to let that go because it's also tampering your performance. You're bringing this heaviness into it and you're bringing this preconceived notion in your mind of what this song needs to be. So I want you to let that go. We're going to surprise ourselves and we're just get to the base of who is this man, like we've talked about before, like make him a real person. For me, it would be Chris Evans, right? Like I love Chris Evans. I think he's adorable and he's a real human. Like, yes, I don't know him, but now I can tangibly like see his smile and see his hair and like see his build in my mind. Like, who is this guy that you love so inexplicitly that you will show up no matter what?
Now, can I
Yeah, I would say
interject?
like
Because I can tell you how to get there. You know, when you she's I really do love this character. Despite what I said earlier on, she's also a very, very strong woman. You know, she's got this, again, she loves this man for whatever reason. He's abusive, what have you. But, he dies and she raises her child and, she's there and she goes against her boss in the beginning saying, no, I'm going to stay out and I don't care what you say about me. So what happens when we get to a quote unquote heady song is a little bit of what you did. And I was looking at the music. We're going to take it from something made him the way that he is. When you get there, there's actually too much head voice. So what happens when people get on the heady side is they keep it heady. So the in fact, I'm going to have you do it right here. Don't even worry about queuing up the track. Something made him the way that he is, whether he's false or true, and something gave him the things that are his. Now, this is where, you're talking about the part where you love him. What you need technically is more chest voice. It was too heady. It was too weak a little bit. Now, you're not going to belt it, obviously, but you want to sneak in a little bit more chest voice there. That's actually going to make your voice less heavy later on because you're overemphasizing the one register, the head register. You're not letting the chest voice come in to help you. So can we take just from, I'll play the pitches for you. So something the way that he is. I want you to start it from there. Think your thoughts and think a little bit more of the depth. The reason you're adding the chest voice is because you have to have a little bit more depth to what you're talking about with this guy. So add just that little bit of extra chest voice. Now, not all of them, obviously, because you're not going to belt it, but especially the low ones, anything that's like the D, E flat, E flat, E flat, all those guys in there. So the lower ones. Try that thought, that little bit of an extra chest voice, and see what happens. Let's take it from there, and then go into so when he wants your kisses, because you will give them to the lad, because you want to have the groundedness of the chest voice. See how that gets you to the next place. That obviously goes more heady.
Yeah,
All right.
and because this woman has a spine, right? Think about like where this woman lives. You know what I mean? She's grounded, right? She's like so like don't I think because the song, the way it's like floaty and pretty, we kind of like get that sense of like we have to play against the music and realize that this woman has been through it and she perseveres and she has a spine, right? So that will bring in the voice that Donna's talking about. especially as singers, right? Like when things are kind of in that weird place and we're like, oh God, I don't know what to do with it, so I'm going to keep it lighter even though it's heavier, like she says, it gets even harder, and then it makes it so much harder to get to those higher notes because our voice is like uncertain, it's not grounded. And
Correct.
same thing with our character, it's ungrounded.
So take it from that point, okay? And take all the time you need for it, but give it a shot, and then we'll go on from there. Just a cappella.
Something made him the way that he is, whether he's false or true. Gave him the things that are his. One of those things is you. So when he wants your kisses, you will give them to the lad, and anywhere he leads you, you will walk, and anytime he needs you, you'll go running there like mad. You're his girl, and he's your feller, and all the rest. Oh,
Except we
that
didn't
felt
hear
so
the end.
good.
But that was amazing.
Yay. Which part didn't you hear?
The
The
very
top?
last, yeah, the very and all the rest is we didn't hear that. But fine. I mean, we heard the end of it and we got the gist of it. So, how did you feel about that?
That was like a whole new world, a place I never knew. That's how I feel.
Yeah, your voice
Proud.
sounded so free and stunning, and it like didn't have this preconceived like I have to be all this, certain type of
Exactly.
singer, and then it made the story so much clearer.
Yep. One of the things that I notice in general is that people who sing on the head voice side, classical singers, they don't have the chest voice on the bottom. Vice versa, the belters don't have the head voice on the top. And you know what? Every note has to be slightly mixed and different. Now, the chest voice for a classical singer is not the same chest voice for a belter, but you have to figure out some kind of a chest voice. And that chest voice that you use there, obviously not the same one that you used for Anastasia, but it worked for this piece.
Yes, yes, I completely understand. Like because it feels so different. Like in Anastasia, it doesn't feel heavy like the head voice. It feels like more talky, and in here, like it has to feel like it feels more connected. If that makes sense,
Correct.
it has
Yes.
to be like completely connected for it
And
to
then
feel right.
therefore, your intentions are all connected.
Yeah.
So this is the perfect example of what I preach all the time. And I work the technical aspect, obviously, but the technical aspect has to coincide with what your acting intention is. So that's what the register balances mean. More chest voice, that has an emotion to it. It's a groundedness, or it's an over the top excitedness, or it's an anger, or it's whatever. And then the head voice is more sweet, or it's more passionate, or it's, there's all kinds of different emotions equated with what's the register balance. And once you know that, instead of just saying, well, I'm going to randomly let my voice go wherever it wants to go, then your acting intention doesn't get there. Now, when you approach it as Jackie does through the acting, sometimes your voice just goes there. It's like, I have the intention, therefore my voice just added more chest voice. But when we work it this way technically is when your voice didn't automatically go there. Then we explore it and then we go there.
And what's interesting, I think a lot of mindsets that singers, actors get into is making sure that the voice is all in one voice, that we're not starting, with a chest voice and then all of a sudden we mix and it's like a different voice and people are like, wait, did somebody else come in and sing this song? And finding that beautiful mix of being able to just go up in all the same voice, which is what you just proved in that. It's like you brought in a little bit more chest and then you went into this mix and it was all in the same voice. We were
Correct.
like, who brought in another girl, right? It's this beautiful, amazing, just seamlessness. And it just is beautiful.
And what throws people off, which didn't throw you off, is that when our voices shift, when they go from that more chest voice to the more head voice, or from the louder chest voice to the mixed voice, they feel a shift and they say, "Oh, I can't do that. I feel it shifting." Well, we didn't hear a shift. We heard seamlessness, but you're feeling your voice going from one thing to another. So feeling is very, very different from what we are hearing out there, which is why I tell my students, when you practice, if you think that's happening, record yourself and listen objectively. Because many times you'll feel a big shift. And I have that especially with my men who have to add the falsetto mix. They'll feel a shift and they'll say, "I can't possibly sing that note there." And then they'll listen back and they'll say, "Oh, that's not what I felt. What I'm hearing is not what I felt." So, emphasizing what Jackie just said.
Yeah. And lastly, I just want to say, just aesthetically, how you have your hair and makeup right now is absolutely gorgeous. So when you're auditioning, so for when you're doing your recall for school, is that like less, especially with makeup, less is more for women. You know what I mean? You have this gorgeous eye. You're just a gorgeous girl, but you don't want, the more makeup is when we detract from it, right? And it's heavy, and it makes us look older. And B, it just shows that we're not confident in what we're bringing to the table. And this fresh face, beautiful, it's like, I'm ready to go. I know I'm confident in what I'm bringing to the table. And also it's a beautiful natural palette for us to see who you are, right? Rather than detract from it. So beautiful makeup, which is sadly it's part of the deal. It's like how we present ourselves, it's where we're making our first impression. And people pick up on everything. Same thing, like the song starts not when we start singing. The song starts when the music starts, right? So we don't wait to act and just like fiddle around to get in, right? It's like this, and the same thing happens. The audition starts the second we walk in the room. People are taking our energy in the second we walk in. How we walk in, how we present ourselves, how we talk to the pianist. Everything is getting clocked and noticed. So bringing in that confidence and knowing that you don't have to wear a lot of makeup because you're confident in what you are and what you're bringing to the table speaks volumes to the people behind, the desk or the people watching. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you both so much. It was Fabi. It was amazing working with you, Jackie. This is our first collaboration, and I'm so excited
fun.
about it.
Yay.
Amazing. So thank you both so much, and I wish you're going to go places, Fabi, because you're amazing. So, and I wish you all the best with that.
Yay. Thank you so much, Donna. I loved this class, and I loved working with the two of you, and the things that you do with your technique and how you approach singing is so amazing, and it just feels so relaxed after you even do it. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for watching Donna Reid Talks Voice. If you have any questions for me about this episode, or if you'd like to join me on a future episode, please visit donnareedtv.com and click contact.